What's going on, Chiefs fans? Before we get into today's show, I got a question for you as who is the bigger storyline going into week 2? If it's Chris Jones, then type CJ. If you think it's Travis Kelce, then type TK. And if you think it's Kadarius Toney and seeing if he can bounce back from his horrendous game this last week, then type KT. On today's show, we're going to talk about the injury report, first one of the week, along with Joe Thuney's contract restructurement that allowed for Chris Jones to be added back to the 53-man roster. Welcome into the show, Chiefs fans. My name is Jace Andrews, and if you want to get on a future Chiefs report, well, all you got to do, follow me on Twitter at Jace Andrews _. We've done it before, and the first 5 people who follow me after this show, well, you're going to get a shout out on a future Chiefs report, so make sure you go follow me. I'm talking Chiefs all day long, all year long, and anytime something breaks, I'm right there with it along with here on the Chiefs report, so follow me at Jace Andrews _ on Twitter. All right, we got our first injury report of the week as the Chiefs have released it, and, well, there wasn't a lot of notable, ideas or maybe things that happened on there, but there were 2 notable names. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice due to illness. We expect him to be fine, just sick there, probably back before Sunday's game. But we did get 2 new additions. Chris Jones and Travis Kelce are both back. Chris Jones having his first practice after the holdout. Travis Kelce practicing for the first time since that knee injury that he had over a week ago at this point. And then L'Jarius Sneed, also limited participant in practice. And I think that's a name we're just going to have to keep seeing every week as with his knee, I've heard that it's going to be some veteran off days is what they've called it. So he'll probably be limited for a majority of the season, if not pretty much every single Wednesday. But we're not here to talk about L'Jarius Sneed as much as we like him and how good he is. Today is all about these 2 right here. Chris Jones and Travis Kelce back at practice together, and oh boy, I'm excited. And I want to know how excited you are because I'm pumped, and I want to know if you're pumped. So get in the comment section and let me know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited does it make you to know that Chris Jones and Travis Kelce were both on the Chiefs practice field today, practicing together for the first time, getting ready for Sunday's game against Jacksonville? It just gets me amped. I'm super pumped, and I want to know if you're feeling the same way as I am. So get in the comments, scale from 1 to 10. How pumped are you to see Kelce and Jones back on the practice field? Let's start with Jones in this as his return. Well, surprised when that contract was signed? Yes. From here, where do we go? Well, on Monday, the Chiefs restructured his contract, and the thing was that also really brought money into the situation and financial issues for Brett Veach and company as the $19.5 million contract was now added back to the Chiefs cap space, which put the Chiefs $6.1 million over cap. And it's pretty obvious that now cap space was needed for his return. It was needed to be opened up. And so where does Brett Veach go from here? Well, he decided to go restructure a contract of another player. That player, Joe Thuney. Thuney, as he has now restructured it to help free up that cap space. And with that, Chris Jones can now return to the 53-man roster as Thuney's cap is now $27 million over the next 2 years. So 2024 and 2025, his cap will sit at about $27 million. But that's where they were able to free up the space for Jones and his $19.5 million that will be on this year's cap space on there. The incentives will be moved to next year's cap. All right, before we get into Travis Kelce, I got to tell you about our friends over at Game Time, as they're a brand new sponsor here on the Chiefs Report. And if you want stress-free tickets, go to Game Time, because Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, theater, pretty much every type of event in your area. And with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. Now, the tickets are very easy to find in every kind of event, and some of the cool things about the app is it gives you an image of your actual seat. Now, a lot of apps do that, but the best thing about Game Time, it's 360. So when you click on that little screen, you're going to be able to turn your phone and basically see exactly what you're going to see at your seat. It's super awesome. It's one of my favorite things. And being the new guy here at Chat Sports, I really want to go out. I want to explore the area. Game Time makes that super simple. I don't have to plan anything. I just go on the app, and within 2 clicks, I have my ticket, and I don't even have to go through my email. All I got to do, I get it right on the app. And the best thing is, for Chiefs Report watchers, we have a special discount code for you. If you use Chiefs Chat at checkout, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off. That's not chump change, and when you're buying tickets, it's really nice. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChiefsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ChiefsChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today, last-minute tickets, and the lowest price guarantee. All right, one more thing we're going to talk about with Chris Jones was that he was added to the roster with an exemption. So I mentioned he got put on the 53-man roster. But that 53-man roster, well, that 53 has now become 54. Here's the tweet that I'm referencing here with Charles Goldman saying that they reinstated Chris Jones from the reserve/did not report list, but they received an exemption. See, that exemption allows for him to return to the 53-man roster without a cut being made. Well, that cut is going to have to be made before Monday, September 25th, which is a pretty long time away. You got almost over a week and a half at this point. So pretty nice there. You get it. But there will be an impending move made with this Chiefs as soon enough, the exemption, it's going to go out. And the Chiefs are going to have to cut a player, but they have a little bit to kind of worry about that. You got this week, and technically, it was the September 25th, you got next Sunday as well. So that's kind of a nice thing, but another cool thing that happened today was Chris Jones actually spoke for the first time since that contract restructurement, and it was at today's Chiefs press conference. He took the podium, and we have a couple of things that I think are important to hear from that presser. The big one is the top of the list here. I would probably change things those are things you're going to have to deal with in life. Now, that's referencing his holdout. He's saying that he probably would have changed the way he would have done things during this entire process, but he's going to have to deal with it now. So I think that's super interesting to hear that he kind of thinks that maybe I would have changed something. Another quote, hopefully we get something figured out long term. We'll kind of dive into that in just a second. But then the last one, kind of a funny one here. I want y'all to know I kept the receipts. Now, this was basically saying, hey, any of y'all who called me out on Twitter, any of y'all who were upset at me, just to let you know, I know who you are. I kept those receipts, and I know exactly why I'm going to go out here and play in the field and prove you wrong and prove exactly why you need me in a Chiefs uniform. But let's go back to that second quote. As he mentioned a future with the Chiefs. Well, it's going to be interesting, to say the least, because the cap space, well, it's just not there with how big a contract he's wanting. That's why the extension didn't happen, and it was a restructurement to get Chris Jones back on the field. So I'm thinking that this future for him could be tight. I don't really know what to expect. Do I want him on the field in a Chiefs uniform? Yeah, but do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. And what he would cost? Man, I think that would just be too high a price and would cost the Chiefs so much in losing other people. I don't think it's worth it. But I want to add you into this discussion because there's a lot of ins and outs in this, and I want to hear what y'all have to think. So if you think, or rather, if you want to see Chris Jones in uniform, type Y for yes. And if you don't, type N for no. Now, again, keep in mind, if Chris Jones is kept, well, that's going to cause a lot of problems on keeping other people, and it may cause some guys that Trent McDuffie in a couple of years. I mean, to a point, you're going to. I know it's a little young, but Felix Anudike-Uzomah, if he comes to be exactly what we think he could, we may not be able to sign him later. So if you think Chris Jones is worth it and you want to keep him, you want to see him in a Chiefs uniform, type Y for yes, and then type N for no, and give me a reason why, because I think that's probably my answer just out of the fact that I want to see him there, but I just don't know how high a price the Chiefs are willing to go. So get in the comments, let me know, type Y for yes, type N for no. All right, another thing we're going to hit today is Patrick Mahomes. Now, the reason I say Patrick Mahomes is because I mentioned that press conference. Now, the big thing obviously was Travis Kelce coming to practice Chris Jones, but we didn't hear from Travis Kelce. We heard from Patrick Mahomes because he played last week. And he had this to say about the improvement and what he expects on Sunday's game against Jacksonville. He said, I think guys are ready to go. We didn't like how we played this past Thursday, and so I think guys are ready to get out there and prove to everybody, even ourselves, who we really are. NFL, you're screwed. You've awoken Patrick Mahomes. He's here, and these yards, this stats, this isn't bad. This is not bad by any stretch. Is 20 points bad in terms of what Patrick Mahomes expects? Yeah, kind of, but again, that one interception, you take that off the board, they win the game. Kadarius catches the ball that puts them in field goal range. Boom, that's 23 points. You win that game 23-14. Just a couple of changes, and that game's a lot different. You add in, you're going to have Travis Kelce back potentially. You're going to have Chris Jones back. That's pretty much confirmed. This team is about to skyrocket, and now just that one game, that's all it took to awake Patrick Mahomes and basically say, hey, we're still here, and we're ready to prove to ourselves that we are the best team in the NFL. We won the Super Bowl last year for a reason, and we're coming for that crown again. I'm excited to see it, and it's just a fun time, but we'll have to see if it's proven on Sunday. They're going to have a tough task against a high-powered offense, and we'll kind of talk about that more in future Chiefs Report, but for now, that's all. Peace out.